Hello, in this UI Builder Bytes video, we're going to take a look at how to set a filter on one of the list components dynamically. So probably pretty common that you'll want to filter a list based on something happening in your page. And with the list component, so right now I have this list component that shows up in the bulk of this page. I have a filter property, so if I click on that, right now I am filtering active as true, and maybe I want to say active as true and the category matches whatever I choose in this category dropdown. Well, right now there's not a way to do anything dynamic at this point. So if we were in Flow Designer, I could grab a data pill off from the right and use it over here. Different places in the platform, maybe it would be more dynamic. But right now in UI Builder, this part of the filter is not dynamic. So I'm going to hit cancel. And the way that I can make it dynamic is that I can bind some sort of property to this filter where I can just pass it the encoded query that it's expecting. So anytime you see a filter in ServiceNow, all it's doing is creating some sort of encoded query, and we'll take a look at what that looks like. But if I look at this right now, I have my beautiful header. And I have this category drop down where I have software and hardware. So I want to be able to hit software and only see software categorized incidents. I want to be able to hit hardware and see the same thing. So we have to do a couple of things. Most of the time when we do something like this, we need to create a client state parameter. So I'm going to go ahead and create one of those that says category. And it's okay to be a string. We'll just end up populating. I'm going to save. And then there's a couple of things we could do here, but the most obvious one is just to, instead of using that filter, we're going to use a script in a filter. And we haven't actually done this in a UI Builder Bytes video yet. But I am going to script my filter so I know active equals true, and then if I want to add an and, I just do this caret and then category equals, and then I'm going to say plus. And so what we want to do is we want to access the client state parameter. So I think that's API.state.category is what we called it. So I'm going to apply. And then the last thing I need to do is actually populate that parameter based on this category field. So it looks like that is working because it's showing me all of the categories that are blank because my client state parameter doesn't have a value yet. So let's go and say for these events, anytime I select an item, we want the category parameter to have payload.value. So category client state parameter name is the payload.value. So let's go ahead and save and then test it. So right now that client state parameter doesn't have a value, but if I say software, it gives me the software categories. If I say hardware, it gives me the hardware categories. And again, that was all because I used this JavaScript, the JavaScript in the filter. So more could be going on here. I could be pulling values from other places. I could also have a client state parameter that is some sort of query, and then I could set that from a script and then bind this client state parameter to the field using the dynamic data binding icon. But the most obvious way to do it is just to use the script here. Thanks for watching.